One of the important ideas we can learn from the Megillah of Esther is the importance of having the right strategy to deal with challenges and difficult situations. Mordechai had urged Esther to appear suddenly before King Ahasuerus, and if she got the audience, then she should plead with him for the sake of delivering her people. In one sense, Esther agreed. That is, she agreed to make the sudden appearance and risk her life to get his attention. But after a 3-day fast, which she and the whole nation engaged in, it would appear that she changed her and she came up with her own plan, because the king did grant her permission and asked her, "What do you want, Esther?" He seemed to be ready to give her anything. Instead of making her plea, she requested that he and Haman come to a party that night. And then at the party, once again, he offered to give her even half the kingdom. And she put it off and she said, "Please, if you'll, both of you and Haman will come to the party tomorrow night, and then I'll let you know what it is that I want." This was a very bold, daring strategy, because why pass up an opportunity? She should have pleaded right away. And not only that, but there's this delay, because who knows what can happen between today and tomorrow. And she also arranges to have Haman, the arch enemy. Why would she want him to be there when she makes her appeal to the king? Anyway, what happened was very strange, because on that night the king couldn't sleep. And you have a split screen. On the one hand, you see what's happening with the king. He's very disturbed. He's bothered. He has them read the Chronicles, and they read the part that Mordechai had rescued him by informing on a plot against him, and that saved his life. At the same time, Haman leaves, and he encounters Mordechai, who refuses to bow for him, and he's filled with rage. He can't control himself, and he calls his wife and advisors and tells them about all of that, all of his glory. But every time he sees Mordechai, he's just worth nothing to him. So they give him advice, which is pretty stupid, and that is to go in the morning, actually, to prepare a tree and come to the king and ask the king to have Mordechai hung on it, which is very stupid advice. At the very same moment that Haman couldn't wait till the morning, he runs back to the palace to tell the king to kill Mordechai, and the king is reading about how Mordechai saved his life. And then when Haman gets there, the king asks, how was he rewarded? What was done for a person? Because it's very important that people that go out of their way to report important news about the dangers to the king need to be rewarded, to encourage other people. And Haman thinks that really it's him, that the king wants to honor him. So he reveals his real intentions come to the fore, that somebody should wear the garments of the king and get the horse of the king and the crown of the king. And things are happening over here. Suddenly, Ahasuerus is developing a different attitude towards Haman, and he humiliates Haman. He says, "Okay, do all that you said. Do that to Mordechai the Jew." This is the beginning of the end for Haman. He's going to his own destruction. And eventually, at the next night at the party, this time the ground has been set, and the king asks Esther what she wants, and she says, "Please rescue me and my nation." Who? The king says, It's Haman, this evil Haman. And before you know it, Haman himself is hung on the tree that he had prepared for Mordechai. It's very interesting. She came up with a unique idea. That is to turn the king against Haman. She realized that if she just goes and pleads, it's going to fall on deaf ears. She had to have a strategy. The strategy was to get the king suspicious of Haman. What's Haman doing over here? And then to start thinking about it, which is exactly what happened. In the course of that night, the attitude of the king, which had been total reliance on Haman, now became very, very hostile. And when Haman began to make these requests that indicated his own desire to be the king, he proceeded to humiliate him. So the salvation of the Jews, it's interesting, it came from two sources. On the one hand, there was the wise actions of Esther. On the other hand, it was that night. There was divine providence was working things out, arranging things. King couldn't sleep. King read the Chronicles, read about Mordechai, and at that very moment, Mordechai came in. It was a combination of wise planning, choosing the right approach, and divine providence comes in to see that the plans of the wise, the plans of the righteous should reach their fulfillment. That's why it's very, very important. Of course, we have to pray to God. We need the assistance of God. But at the same time, we have to come up with good ideas. You can't just take any kind of strategy. The strategies that we choose must be based upon intelligence, must be based upon wisdom, and must be, very often, it has to be counterintuitive. So that combination of wisdom and total faith in HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the formula that leads to Jewish success.